mood and tech levels and magic. We're all gonna swirl it together, and then I decided to just look at inspiring photos. So join me on day 24, Christmas Eve. Happy Christmas Eve. We're gonna jump over to Notion and talk about all of those things as we build a fantasy world called Endegair. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We're going to talk about happy December 24th, Christmas Eve. I hope you've all been good and that Santa will bring you many dice this holiday season that we can all roll in person in 2021. It's going to be fantastic. Today is a two-part exercise that we're going to turn into looking at inspiring art because that's what's happening. So, jumping over here to Notion, our web writer challenge for day 24 is Mood 3, which links to Mood 2. That's weird. Is it just, or did she label it wrong? I think okay, it should be Mood 3. But basically this is going back over the mood, what do we want to evoke feeling wise from our fantasy novel, but we're using it for a campaign setting. But I liked the bonus exercise, find a drawing or piece of artwork that captures the mood of your piece and print it out and like hang it up. So I thought today's exercise might be really good to look at inspiration. And I have an inspiration folder for D&D, and I have an inspiration folder that I made for Endegair specifically. And a lot of those overlap, but it's pieces of fantasy art that I found on the web that I am like, that's the image that I really like. And we have talked a lot about Notion and having the artwork with Notion. When you're building this, it really just having that really puts you in the headspace of what you're doing, and knowing that you have just the artwork there. I think it's really important. So, with that, I wanted to look at some art. So this is a Google Drive of mine, and specifically, we're going to go to Endegair here, and I have a couple of folders of various things that I was working on. This is kind of before I was using Notion, but I wanted to focus on this inspiration here. And some of these you have already seen. These are this is the Kepler orrery of the planets that he thought was, using platonic solids. So this is the platonic solids as detailed with the elements, and a golden ratio, and just some other geometric shapes that I thought were interesting. Harmonics Mundi. So this is another good one, yeah. And then a small stellated dodecahedron. I think this is like an inverted dodecahedron. I forget it. Anyway, so that is some stuff, but these are this is just some fantasy art that I have found throughout. And I say fantasy art, it could be, it's art depicting some kind of fantastical thing that I thought was cool. So I like to use art, like I was saying, to really envision, I don't know, a world. I feel, a picture is 1,000 words kind of a thing. Now, I don't own any of these, and I will credit the authors if I can find them, or the artists. But I love stuff like this. Like, this is just a snowy mountain city. Really cool. This is actually from Wizards of the Coast. This is D&D art from one of the books. I forget which one. It might be... Well, I don't remember, but I really liked the gnome tinkering and building stuff. So just weird, archaic things. This is kind of the feeling I want for Endegair. And I won't use all of these. I like the idea of some kind of sea creature that maybe is made up of water, and that's what keeps people out. spell slingers, spell swords, gishes, whatever you want to call them. I really like them. I think they're one of my favorite classes. And so something like this is primo. The sword in one hand and the magic in the other. Just really cool stuff. So same here. This is, I think, an artist's interpretation of a blue mage from Final Fantasy XI. A game I played a lot, so I just really like this. But yeah, what kind of art inspires you? Like, there's so many creative people on the internet. And I really, yeah, this is one that I don't think I will use. This is early that I wanted this, like, originally Endegair was going to be a city. I was going to build just a city and really detail it out that you could have an adventure in this city and put this city in your campaign setting. But that kind of changed with a lot of the cosmology that I was creating, that I'm like, I think this is a whole campaign setting and I still want to build a city, but that city turned into Domitica's tetrahedron that she's flying around in. And I think I'm going to make that big enough that there is a smallish capital city on top, and then the sub-levels are a fun dungeon that the players could run through. Just expansive, really cool architecture. I love stuff like this. Again, this feels like a neighboring kingdom that had a very different design philosophy when they were creating their kingdom, so I like this a lot. This one, I'm not sure I would use or be directly inspired from. I just loved the chaos of it, but it almost has I don't know, it's really good. You don't see a lot of drow paladins, and so that's what I envisioned this as and really liked it. This is from, I forget what this is from, but I thought this was amazing for one of the gods, maybe, or just the idea of this could go both ways. Is he giving the coins to the person, or is he taking the blood back and forth? I'm not sure, but I like the idea that you're giving up a lot for a patron, and so this is one of those patrons. So this just feels like a pact keeper that has gone maybe a Fey Pact Keeper of Baba Yaga that has just gone full overboard into it, and it has become its own monstrous creature, maybe runs around the Feywild. So, I don't know. And then these two images are just the inverted pyramid. I just liked this image a lot, and it's kind of capitalized the whole thing. Just a seaside town. There's like flying stuff in the corner, but I don't necessarily going to have airships. Like that one as well. Yeah. So, and then we were talking about orreries, and like, somebody sent me this on Twitter, I believe, and really liked the envision of this, that this is maybe the giant broken down orrery that's on, the island in the center that is just this old piece of technology. So yeah, just some really cool stuff. I think that's about all of it. To finish up with mood, I want to emphasize that you can convey a game in a game setting with a picture really well. And the setting that, or the game you want to run, like, I'm building a game inspired by this piece of art. And I think that's a great tool that Dungeon Masters can use to get players also excited for a game that the Dungeon Master probably already is excited for. We talked earlier about mood being tied to the DM and what kind of game they want to run. But Endegair is also kind of oppressive. Domitica being an authoritative kind of figure that's taking control of all these different lands. I think moving around and having freedom of movement and knowing how to get to places and things like that is going to be restricted and difficult. And so because of that, you're going to feel that oppressiveness, I think. So still a work in progress, and I never know how a situation is going to feel until I actually run it. Because there's been a lot of times that I'm like, oh my gosh, this is going to be, dark and spooky, and then your players just laugh their way through it. And that's not you shouldn't be discouraged by things like that. That's just a fact of, I guess, more of me, where I'm like, I just don't know. I don't know how this is going to work out. Up next is, what is the tech level and does magic integrate? So this is, are you having like a arcane punk, like a steampunk kind of world that embraces magic and technology? Are you having an Eberron world where we're utilizing electricity to from I don't know, electrical elementals or something, and you're building these railroads and things like that? So I think short answer is the tech level is going to be low. I don't want to create another Eberron. I don't really want to create a magic punk tech kind of world of fast travel, instant communication, stuff like that. But I also don't envision Endegair as being Lord of the Rings, So maybe there are continual flame light spells in certain areas, and maybe they have street lamps in that kind of way, but you're not going to have a pocket computer or anything like that. Now, one of my favorite games is Final Fantasy VI, and I thought that did a really good job of the villains found a new technology that allowed them to subvert others, and it was magically inspired. And now that I think about it, maybe a lot of this is actually me interpreting that game, because you have an oppressive government that's using technology. But so that being said, Magitech armor is really cool. Like, you build these creatures, you're infusing these soldiers with magic. They pilot these Magitech armor things that are also infused by magic. Nobody else has these, and very few civilizations or towns within the whole area have access to that kind of power. And technology is actually a better word. They don't have access to that kind of technology because the oppressive empire is using that technology to be oppressive. And I don't think with Dominica specifically, but maybe one of the other Quadrivium members, maybe there is a new technology or a MacGuffin device that they have created that would further the story in some way. I'm thinking back to some of the D&D podcasts that I listened to way back in the day. And there was a 4E one that I listened to for quite a while. And one of their new devices is that they had these, the way he described it was very good because he never used the word rifle, but it's essentially like a rifle that fires lightning bolts. And that is really cool. So like somebody who doesn't have to master or train to use magic can then pick up this item and have access to a very powerful spell like lightning bolt. And I think that's what technology offers in a civilization. It takes a lot of work to create this, but once you have it, you can give it to somebody and then they can, be powerful without having to do all of the work. That is kind of what I'm doing with Pact Magic and the fact that they're trying to build an armory of magic items. If I can build a whole bunch of magic items, I can give, NPCs, I can give an army these magic items, and they are now stronger. Same thing with, we were talking about symbiotes and stuff, and like if I graft a demon arm onto your hand or something like that, so you now have like an empowered hand, you didn't have to do much to earn that power, but I want there to be the flip side of it, is that it's controlling you in a way as well. So yeah, so short answer, long answer there. Not very, but I want to get that general concept. I think that's important of what, I guess I'm thinking of Jeff Goldblum, like you didn't, and specifically from Jurassic Park, like you didn't earn the knowledge. You didn't, what is that quote? All right, I found it. So he says, I'll tell you the problem with scientific powers that you're using here is that you didn't require any discipline to obtain it. And that is kind of the truth. They don't understand the power they wield because they haven't gone through the whole process of understanding it. And we could equate it to a martial arts. You might be hot-headed and you're like, I want to learn martial arts to go beat up. This might be a bad analogy, but like I want to learn martial arts to go beat up on the bully that it bothered me at school all my life or something like that. But through learning martial arts, you learn the discipline to not attack him and to not assault him. And so that process is important of learning not only how to fight, but when to fight and why to fight and who to fight for. And if we equate that to, technology, like if you're hot-headed and I give you a gun, you go out and you have lots of power when you did nothing to earn that power. And I think the same thing is going to be with pact magic in a way. So, yeah. That is the episode today. Thank you guys. Happy Christmas Eve. Tomorrow will be Christmas Day. There will be a video. I will get it out as soon as possible. So we'll see how late it is. It depends on Christmas Eve shenanigans. But it's going to be awesome. I hope you all have a wonderful day on your Christmas. And we're got 5 days left. So this is going to be crazy finishing this up. I guess I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care.